What is up, everybody? Jesse Lee here, and today we're coming at you with another video on hand technique, right? Because I don't have my drum set up here. Not yet, anyway. And today we're going to be talking about a really important thing that helped me get my playing smoother all across the board. And this applies to drum set and everything, and it applies to every single different technique. So no matter what type of drummer you are, where you're at in your drumming skill, I didn't know what to label this video if it's beginner, intermediate, or advanced, because it sort of applies to every single level. And it applies to different hand positions, whether you're playing match grip, traditional, German, right, palms down, or French, right? So this is a really great technique, and it's again, it'll help you no matter where you're at. And it's what I want to be talking about today is the ability to switch seamlessly between single strokes, right, and doubles. So and doing it at will, improvising your way through. So I'll just give you a quick demo. That's what I already did at the beginning, but this is where we want to get to, right? So now I threw some accents in there and things like that, and some obviously took some breaks and things like that. But really what you want to be able to do is, with this whole thing that I'm going to describe to you how to do it, is get all of your playing across the board super smooth. Something I always tell my students whenever you are always, I haven't had students in years, that's a lie. But if I were to have students, something I would tell them is you want to be able to make all of your playing super intentional. Right? So I'm going to use a paradiddle as an example for this, right? Super intentional. When you go to play a paradiddle, you should be playing it super smooth across the board. And if you're using accents, they should be really, really intentional. Really intentional. And if you're not intentional about your accents, you shouldn't be having accents, right? So here's a paradiddle, right? Right, left, right, left, left. So also, I want to talk about the smooth playing. As you can see on my pad even, there's a difference between this sound where I hit it here and over on the side here. I'm not sure if you can hear that on my mic or not, but I can hear it. And even my sticks are slightly, you can tell there's different density depending on where they cut the stick from in the wood. So you can hear a slightly different tone between this stick and this one. I don't know if you can hear that. So just be aware, when I talk about getting everything super, super smooth and in control, there's so much that you can control, and the closer you can match the volumes and stick heights and everything, the better. But there are going to be some things that are just a little bit out of your control, like the stick density, depending on if they cut it out of like a knot in the wood, it tends to be really dense as opposed to a different part of the wood. And then again, where on the drum, in my case pad, are you hitting? Is it the center? Is it the side? Or is it kind of like the side of the side? Or is it that part, right? So keep that in mind. Whenever you're going through this, there's certain things you can control, there's certain things you can't. So just keeping that in mind as we move forward. So getting back to the paradiddle thing though, right? Notice my stick heights, and by the way, if you see my stick heights shifting, I'm seeing a reverse view of my camera, so if my right hand raises, I see it as my left hand. When I try to correct, my dyslexic brain tries to reverse it. So, but in general, if I'm looking at my own sticks, everything should be pretty uniform stick height, and it doesn't matter what volume you're playing, right? So here's the issue with new drummers, right? Same with big, massive volume. So the tendency on these rudiments is to, and this has to do with the energy coming from your arms. If you've ever studied the Muller technique, you'll kind of know what I'm talking about here. Because I'm using a little bit of Muller with my paradiddles, right? If I were to take one hand away, you notice my arm moves a little bit more on that first single, and then the double it doesn't, right? So there's a tendency, because of that arm movement, to want to accent that first. So drummers, when they're starting to play paradiddles, they will actually add the accent. Or worse, they'll add the accent on the dominant hand and a less decisive accent on the non-dominant hand. Whichever's your dominant hand, right hand, left hand, doesn't matter. For this particular, there are a place for accents, and we will talk about that in future videos, but they have to be intentional. Otherwise, you're playing, it doesn't sound as specific and clean. And when you're going through these exercises, it's the specificity that gets everything sounding super tight and super clean and just nice, right? If you're really intentional about your accents, I'll just make a quick example on this paradiddle. Again, we'll talk about accents in a different video, but you tell me what sounds better. This kind of half-assed accent, right? Where things just sort of sound uneven, or this very smooth, and then like a really forceful accent with very low stick heights in between. So you see how much more intentional my hands are being when I want to add the accent. So keep in mind that if we're not trying to do that, try to get rid of it completely and make everything super smooth. Same stick heights and everything. All right, so that's the first thing. You want to make sure your singles and doubles, no matter what tempo, what grip, right? I'm trying to reverse my stick heights as I see them in there. Whether it's German grip here, French grip here, singles or doubles, right? Doubles in your... See, I got this weird left-hand lead. Normally I do right-hand leads, but because I'm reversed and the camera's coming out as opposite. So, again, that's French grip. Making sure you get those separate, right? Just practice your singles for a while, make them sound like a machine gun. Get it up to a pretty quick tempo, right? And I'm not going to walk you through how to do this. All you need to do to practice it is just do it, right? I've got other videos on hand technique and if you should be using French grip or German grip and different stuff like that. So check some of those out. And then same with doubles, right? Just try to get it to sound like a machine gun. Again, you're going to see that you can hear the different tone in the pad and the stick, right? So it's not going to sound completely identical, but the closer you can get it to sounding identical, the better. Making it nice and smooth. Also on doubles, a lot of people will actually accent the first note, similar to paradiddles. Again, there's a place for that, but not here, right? So you really want to be intentional about getting boom, boom, both of those notes. If you look at my hands, I'm actually turning my wrist twice. I'm not throwing it down and hoping for a bounce. There's also a place for bounce, right? But you'll see either I'm turning my wrist twice, or if I'm playing a little quieter or faster, depends on where it is, I will also kick in my fingers for that second note. I've got a whole video just on that finger technique that will help you on that as well, right? So you'll notice whenever I do my doubles, if I'm in French grip, it normally starts a little higher, and then to get the power on that second note, I'm kind of snapping here. Again, I'm not going to go delve into that. Check out my other videos on there's a playlist on how to play faster and things like that. But know that, or with doubles, if I'm in German grip, sometimes I'll use a little bit of that finger technique, or you'll actually see me turn my wrist twice, boom, boom, so that I'm getting two very consistent notes. None of this accenting the first one and then dropping the second one. So if you can't do this yet at a reasonably quick tempo, you should really be slowing your doubles down and turning on every boom, 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 boom. See, this is how intentional I am with my wrists. My wrist control is I can play without the bounce of the drum, and you'll still see me, you know, turning my wrist twice on those. So those are doubles. Take the drum away. Oop, hit my sticks. So you can see that I'm turning my wrist twice, you know. You don't want to be so tight, though. I have a whole video on that. It should have been linked in one of the prior videos to this one, is where you don't want to be super tight on this whole thing. You really want to be open and mobile with it. So you're using those muscles, but you're not like tensing up, right? So that's the first part. I haven't even gotten to the the improvising part, right? I might have to split this into 2 videos. I don't know. Where are we at right now? I can't see my timer. Anyway, we'll just keep going. So after you get your doubles and your singles nice and even, you want to practice switching between the two very seamlessly. And this is where your basic rudiments come in. Your paradiddles, your paradiddle-diddles, your double paradiddle-diddles. So just all manner of switching between singles and doubles. And so what I like to do for this is I like to practice going down the chain of starting with, like, you know, 16th notes on like a moderate tempo, right? So if you could get your singles here. This is somewhere between maybe a beginner tempo and an intermediate tempo, having it nice and smooth. And then switch into doubles. So do 4 counts of singles, 4 counts of doubles. Do that for a little while, and then switch to 2 counts of singles, 2 counts of doubles, and then 1 count of singles, and then 1 count of doubles. And those would all be 16th notes. So I'll demonstrate what I'm talking about, right? So here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Doubles, 2, 3, 4. Singles, 2, 3, 4. Doubles, 2, 3, 4. Singles, 2, 3, 4. Doubles, 2, 3, 4. Singles, 2, 3, 4. Doubles, 2, 3, 4. 1. So that's the first part, and then moving down to so 2 counts of each. So 1, 2, 2. Oh, sorry. Let's see. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then chopping it down a little bit more. 1 count of each. 1, 1, and this is your double paradiddle diddle. Yeah. Singles, doubles, singles, doubles, singles, doubles, singles, doubles. Right? So what I like to do is I just like to go through those, going all the way down. And then after you get to the double paradiddle diddles is just the paradiddle. Which, I mean, if you haven't heard of the paradiddle, it's right, left, right, left, right, left, left. There's different inversions on that, but that's the basic one. So let's, so I'm going to just demonstrate how I do that. Feel free to loop this part of the video where I go through and just do 4 for a little while, and then 2 beats on each for a little while, and then 1, and then switch into the paradiddle, right? So here's how I do it. 1, 2, slower tempo. 1. 2. Okay, here we go. We're going to switch to 2 counts. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. 1 count. 1, 2, 1. Right there. Paradiddles. Right? So you want to practice that moving down, and you can practice it with this video if you want. I think I screwed up one of the stickings in there while I was talking. Whenever I talk, I'll mess up my stickings. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate this at a slightly slower tempo, and then I'm not going to talk through it. You just have to follow the timing of my hands, because if I start talking, I'll probably screw up the stickings. So here it is at a slightly slower tempo. 1, 2, 3, go. All right, so that's walking from 4 counts of singles and 4 counts of doubles all the way down to cutting it in half until we just get to paradiddles, where it's little 2 singles and a double, 2 singles and a double. All right, so try to get that nice and even and smooth. And then what you want to do from there is just speed it up. And if this is too fast for you, feel free to just slow it down. All right, so also, if I have the time, I'll make a PDF of this exercise and I'll put it down below. If you want that, go ahead and comment. I can definitely write it out for you. And I'll put it on my website for you. So, all right, the next thing you want to do is just get that nice and smooth and speed it up. All right, so let's try it at this tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so let's speed it up a little bit. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Threw a little bit of a poor sticking and accent in there, but you get the idea, right? So you want to be able to get that really fast. All right, so other variations of this, you want to practice your double paradiddles. Sorry, paradiddle-diddles. 2 singles, which is a 6-note sticking, right? 2 singles, right, right, left, left. So now when you get all those, you also want to practice variations of like 3s and 5s, right? So 1, 3 is right, left, left. Or I don't know how you're seeing it. You might be seeing left, right, right on mine. That's what I'm seeing in my reverse. Right? Or right, right, left. So, and then like a 5 sticking would be 1 single and then 2 doubles. I'll put the accent on there so you can kind of hear it. Right? You want to eventually get rid of that accent and make it nice and smooth. So, yeah, so getting everything nice and smooth, what you want to be able to do is start being able to split between those. And the faster you get, the more you can control this. Just keep on practicing different variations. If you have a hard time switching from a paradiddle to one of those 3 stickings, just practice different combinations of that. And if you need to, just pick like 2 different stickings and try to like your paradiddles and your paradiddle-diddles or something like that. Just write them out on paper if you need a really work out the timing, because some of these, like the 3 stickings and the 6s, they throw off. If you're in the count of 4 quarter notes, it's going to throw things off, right? So 4 quarter notes, if you're dividing into 16ths, if you do like 2 5s and 2 3s, that's 16. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So just be aware that if you're throwing in those 3s and 5s or 7s, right? 7's another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Single, double, double, double. Single, double, double, double. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1. If you're throwing all those in, yeah, it could mess with the timing. So just be aware to just practice. Make sure you hit the downbeats. And if you don't hit the downbeats the first time, just come back and hit it the next time. So really, and I can walk you through more if any of you have more questions on how to do that. I'm more than happy to make other videos. Just leave me a comment and I'll let you know. Really, at the end of all this, you want to get everything nice and smooth to where you can mentally shift between all of these different things and have it be totally smooth, right? And again, we'll talk about accents in a different video, but you want to get to the point where you can just sort of improvise, right? So here's me just at a slower tempo improvising, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Throwing some accents in there just out of habit, but the idea, so you want to keep this everything nice and uniform and smooth, right? So that's at sort of a slower tempo. If you need to go slower than that, you can do that. Just try to start improvising with your singles and doubles. This thing happens where your arms, even if you're doing some of that Muller technique, everything else starts to sound nice and smooth, and you're starting to minimize those unintentional accents. And you saw me, I was adding accents in there. It's just out of habit because I'm used to doing it. So we'll talk about accents in a different video. But yeah, this is super cool when you can get it sounding like a machine gun, because on a drum set, like if you get it nice and quick, and it's the seamlessness of switching to different drums gives it this really cool effect. Now I don't have a drum set in front of me, but I do have this rim here. So we'll pretend that this is a snare and this is like one of the toms. So when you get this nice and quick, you can start just doing variations on different toms, right? So there's your paradiddle diddle, your single, or sorry, your double, right? Here's your single. Single starting with the left hand as opposed to the right. So you want to build this up to where you can do all of this without thinking, right? So if I keep everything on the snare, it should, sound like a machine gun, like I said. So I'll demonstrate this with one hand up here and then the other hand staying here. So we'll pretend this is a high tom, right? So here's what it sounds like at a very fast tempo if you can just start improvising between singles and doubles. This is so cool, right? We'll do it pretty fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I'm just adding accents because I don't know why. I'll I'll talk about it in another video though. Switching hands. All right, so now where do we go from here? Do you see how everything sounds nice and smooth, and even if it's two different sounds? This is like the secret to like guys like Tony Royster Williams. I mean, he's amazing at this kind of stuff. Like, he has such a consistent sound when he plays. All of his accents are super intentional, and when he's not accenting, he's not accenting. And everything sounds. Vinnie Colaiuta is another one. Everything sounds super smooth. So, where do we go from here? Well, we start adding accents, and we'll talk about that in another video. So, yeah, but that's kind of it. So if you can get really good at just improvising, switching between singles and doubles at will without having to think about it, where your hands just go and your motor skills are that automatic, these amazing things start to happen. So focus on that just over the next week. Just try to just improvise. Okay, we're going to, and if you can't improvise, if you can't just do it off the top of your head right away, write out some combinations that you practice over and over. And write out some things that you think might sound good. You know, start with a paradiddle, and then a few singles, and then a few doubles, or whatever you want. It's very fun when you start to get this, and you'll start to get it under your motor skills, and things are going to be really cool. So, all right, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Oh, if you want to watch more hand technique videos, click on that video right there. All right, cool. See you all in the next one.